right, welcome back to another episode of Roundball. We got myself, Jordan Bohannon, Jeff Nadu, and Hunter Dickinson. Boys, how we doing?
What up, Marty? What's good? What's
Yo,
up, everybody?
what's up?
What it do?
All I gotta say is this is coming out on Thursday. This is Wednesday night. We are so goddamn close to college basketball, even though this is probably one of the worst opening games, like opening days where there's really some dog shit games. But I don't give a fuck. I'll be betting the entire day, and I can't wait for it. Hunter, who you playing? Fucking who you
On
playing?
Friday? On Friday or Monday?
Monday.
Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne.
That's just not a real school.
Shout out
No,
John
they-
Kaufman.
Didn't
Yeah,
they
real
beat?
school, man.
Didn't they beat Indiana? Is that the Indiana team that beat Indiana a couple years ago?
Once you start putting like 4 different names in your school's name, I don't think you're.
Well, they used to be IPFW years ago. Now they're Fort Wayne, I guess.
That's like IUPUI, like when they last year when they had like 5 kids on the team. That was an electric team, absolute electric team. But before we get into today's episode, I want to talk to you about November 11th. That is next Friday. We have the Barstool Invitational. We have Toledo versus UAB. Is that correct, Jeff?
Yeah, Toledo, UAB, and then Akron, Mississippi State. Yeah.
Akron, Mississippi State. We got Jelly Walker playing in the Barstool Invitational. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be yak basketball at halftime. There's going to be, I think there's going to be $15,000, a chance to win $15,000 at a half court shot. And if no one makes it the first game, it gets to $30,000 the next one. There's going to be a bunch of nonsense. I think it's Dan and Dave are on the call with Jake Marsh. And then I think our own Jeff Nadu might be in the halftime show. I don't think Rico's going to join it. I think he might be there. So if he doesn't join it, that'd be fucking wild. I also want everyone, if you're listening, would you want Rico coming on one time and just get him and Nadu, get it over with? Don't you want that, Jeff?
Yeah, I would love that. I was hoping he was going to be on the halftime show. I think it would be great. And all this stuff is really in his court, if we're using a basketball term. I'm ready to bury the hatchet. I was ready to bury the hatchet a long time ago. I want to say one thing, though, real quick with Fort Wayne. Hunter might score 50 in that game. They can't stop anybody at the rim. So, Hunter, you might score 50 in that game.
Wait, before you answer that, make sure everyone, Barstool Invitational, November 11th. It is in Philadelphia, which I can't wait for. I will be in attendance. Jeff Nadu will be in attendance, and you can watch it on all Barstool Sports channels. And it's our own. It's all ours. No one can tell us what to do. It's all ours, so I can't wait.
Hey, Marty, real quick with the tournament, the Invitational.
Mm-hmm.
Toledo is really good. Mississippi State's an SEC team. Akron's going to be really solid. There's a lot to like about it. UAB's got one of the best players in the country. It's going to be a good tournament. Maction's great. You got Brandon Walker and SEC stuff with Mississippi State. There's just a lot of storylines, and Dave and Dan and everybody else. It's going to be a great tournament.
Yeah, so make sure everyone checks it out. All right, we are very close. We're next week. We're going to be going episodes on releasing Monday and Thursday, so we get a preview of the weekend and pretty much review all the games on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Hunter, how are you feeling going in? It's finally here, Monday. It's coming. You're playing fucking dog shit team, and then you're probably playing another dog. Oh, you're playing Amoni Bates on Friday as well. How you feeling going into it?
Man, Marty, I'm so excited. Obviously, Jordan's been through it. Like October is kind of the dog days of the season, just really long practices. Just competing to you get tired of playing the same guys over and over, your teammates. So everybody's super pumped up to play against, another team for once. And, obviously, I think we're going to win the national championship, but I think we'll be really good. We got a ton of shooting this year, and I think that's one thing that we really lacked last year. And so for us, coming in this year, chemistry and shooting were two of the biggest things that, we want to improve on from last year. And I think we're in the right spot. I think, Coach Howard's done a really good job in the preseason. I think guys have really gotten the plays down. And so super excited to, start off on Friday versus Ferris State and then on Monday against Indiana Fort Wayne. And then, of course, showdown with Amani and Noah Farrakhan on Friday at Little Caesars Arena.
I feel like Hunter's got his ESPN interview and voice back. Like it's like he was ready for these questions. These stupid ass. How'd you feel after the game, Hunter? When you just won 80-20. Like that's what everyone's gonna say. But I forgot to mention I went to Rutgers last week, and it ended up just being like a live podcast in front of like 100 people, and it was me and Dukes. It was me and Dukes doing it. With Caleb McConnell too on Rutgers, and he was like, "Oh, I know Hunter." I was like, "He talks a lot of shit, right?" He goes, "That man talks a lot of shit during a game." I threw you under the bus so many times. I was like, "I love Hunter. He's my guy." But that man knows basketball, and that's it. It's all he cares about. There's nothing else. But you and Rutgers, is that like the rack is a crazy place to play? And Jeff, I also threw you under the bus. I said that Jeff Nadu said Rutgers ain't shit.
Well, they're not.
That's crazy.
You know, it's funny. I'm not going to get into this again. Actually, I won't say much about Rutgers, but during the season when they don't play well, I'm going to give them a bunch of shit for sure because they're not a basketball school. They haven't been. Maybe the last year or two, maybe. But you know how many times they've been to the tournament over the last 30 years? Twice. And it was last year. So they're not a basketball school. I want to ask Jordan, because this got to be rough for him, right? I mean, he was in basketball for like 10 years at the college level. You got to be pretty kind of sad right now. Like you getting ready to play.
Why do I be sad? I am playing.
Yeah,
well, I mean in college.
You're still playing.
Like, what do you mean?
Level, Jeff.
I mean in college.
I mean, I had an opportunity to play the most amount of games in NCAA history, so I have nothing to. I'm never going to be.
It's not bittersweet at all.
What?
It's not bittersweet.
There were so many ricochet shots to Jordan in that one sentence.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Was it? Why does everyone always think I'm coming at them? I just it's got to be sad, bro. Like if it were me, I would be sad. Like that was, you know.
It's just how you said it. It was like a condescending tone. Like you're talking down to me.
Here we go.
You're being mean, Jeff.
I'm not. I was not being mean. I honestly
it was a little mean. It was.
I just feel like
Iowa, man. Jeff, what is wrong with you and Iowa people?
Sometimes you just like come off me and you don't realize it. And yeah, there's a love affair with you and Iowa fans. I think you need to get it off your chest.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
Well,
no, honestly, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just curious, like, what your thoughts were. Like, it's your first year with just not playing college basketball. Just thinking what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah, you could have worded it a little differently.
Just like that, actually.
That was a lot better.
Sorry.
I think that first I want to go back to your Rutgers thing. That is a crazy statement. I mean, people can just become a basketball team. Like they're starting to get recruits. They have a great recruit coming next year. I forget his name, but I know he's very good.
No one nationally is scared of Rutgers.
I don't really know if that's like, I know I'm not saying they're like this fucking big bad Rutgers is coming, but if you go to Rutgers, it's a scary ass place to play. And they are very, very old this year. They have a lot of Caleb McConnell was Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's a senior. You have Paul Mulcahy, who's I think he's a senior or fifth year or whatever.
Yeah,
and then what's his name?
Omarui.
Cliff had the second most dunks in the entire college basketball last year, behind Mark Williams. I sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about because that's how much I've been to Rutgers. But, like, I don't know. I think they're so old. I think defense, they're going to have no problem. It's the offense that they're going to have a little bit of a problem because their defense is legit. I went to their practice. They don't fucking use a basketball.
Well, they foul every fucking time. It's not really defense.
They do.
And remember, the NCAA tournament's not in New Jersey.
Okay, Jeff, tell me this. If you're going to say what you're saying about Rutgers, you at least have to give them props when they beat good teams this year then. You can't have it both ways.
They're going to
listen, I'll give them props now. Very good home team. They always have been. But I'm just looking at like the fact that we can, they've only really been relevant the last year or two. That's just the truth. And for a long time, they were to the level of like Nebraska, and they're getting better. But I don't believe that people like you at when you were at Iowa or Jordan, you're not worried about Rutgers.
Rutgers and Iowa had probably the worst game ever played last year. It was like about 44 to it was 49-47 or something like that.
Yeah, and that bald fuck called a foul on Keegan Murray and ruined the game.
Who, Borowski?
No, it wasn't Borowski. I don't remember which official it was. Fucking the worst call in college basketball history. Don't even get me. I can't wait for college basketball to hear these fucking refs call their games. They're criminals. They're all fucking criminals.
We should have a weekly segment just to give Jordan a 2-minute shot clock of just how much he hates college refs.
I could go 10 minutes.
Yeah, I hate them too.
I mean, they're horrible. But just this week, I want to talk about just two things before we get into our interview. We have an interview with Jeff Goodman. Jeff Goodman called Jeff Nadu a clown on Twitter, and we're going to be transparent with the people. It was at one point Jeff was like, "Fuck this! He doesn't deserve any of my time." Just as Jeff Nadu, it doesn't deserve any of my time. I don't know what a grown man is calling me a clown for. And Jeff has so much pride in himself. Nadu is fucking insane. I've never met someone that loves himself this much. And I love it about it. That's why he's good for the show. So I finally convinced him, come to the show. And him and Goodman kind of had it out, right, guys, for like the first couple minutes.
There was some
It got a little shaky there.
I had tears rolling down my face for the first 10 minutes. I'm not going to lie.
Me too, bro. And we also get to a lot like where he didn't have Hunter ranked in his top 5 players. He didn't have him so we went at Goodman and it went on for like about an hour. So be ready for that. But before we get into that, I'll have two things to talk about. Gonzaga talking about joining the Big 12. First of all, yeah, that would be amazing. Just one, money would be a lot for them. 2, the Big 12 is probably besides the ACC, my favorite conference in college basketball. I think it's just chaos all the time. And 3, it will stop the whole narrative of them playing nobody all year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it's a lot closer than having to go to some of those Big East locations. Yeah, it would be great. I mean, you'll definitely get away from that stupid thing. What are you going to say then, Marty? They won't have much to say then about
I won't. That'll end my favorite thing of college basketball because they're the biggest, okay, they're really good, but they will never, ever win a national championship.
But I'm starting to think about this. Listen, you're going to get Gonzaga and Kansas twice a year. You're going to get Gonzaga and Texas Tech. I mean, it's electric. Baylor. I mean, that's electric. If that happens, please let it happen. That'd be great.
Tell me this. What do you
for a first seed every year?
Where are you putting them, Jordan? You say?
No. Okay. So if they go to the Big 12, like they're a mid-major school right now. I am not saying they're a high major. I do not agree they're a high major school. When do they become a high major school? Once they beat that first?
Wait, you don't really? You don't think you don't consider them? How?
What do you mean how? They're
like the most. Every year, they're the most relevant team in the country.
Doesn't mean your conference is like a high major.
I have a hard time.
A high major conference.
So it's interesting. You allot them as a major.
Think about it though. Seriously, how would you consider them? It's so top heavy. It's like they have San Francisco and St. Mary's, right?
But I'm just looking at relevance in college basketball.
That is true. Good point, Jordan.
They have blue blood.
So what happened? So when's the situation when they become that high major school? When they win the Big 12?
That would cement it.
No, just joining it is really
I think just joining it. Yeah.
They can go 0-12 the first year in conference. They're still in it. You know what I mean?
Jordan, where do you put them in the pecking order?
In the Big 12?
Second or third? Like behind Kansas?
The thing is they play a different style of basketball compared to Big 12. They don't defend like a lot of Big 12 schools do.
Yeah.
But they'll score the ball, which is a lot of the same offensive schemes as a lot of the guys. There's a lot of high scoring teams.
Don't go to the Pac-10 or Pac-12.
I've wondered that myself.
I think they're middle of the pack, honestly. In league play, they go middle of the pack. Yeah. It'll be 4 to 7 range.
It'll take some time to get used to, and then they'll start getting way better players than they're even getting now. So
yeah. Well, he's going to have to change his recruiting, in my opinion. If they go in the Big 12, he's going to recruit different players. He's going to have to.
But the Hunter saying like the Pac-12, is it just money? Is that what it?
I think
it comes down to.
Pac-12 doesn't want to because they don't have a football program. I think that holds them back the most.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. But
I never really thought about it. Why they don't do it?
speaking, but also it's like I know it's a whole money thing. I understand that, but like they really do have the best gig in the world. Is just go undefeated in conference and be a one
That's
seed.
great.
Like they know they're going to be a one seed in March almost every year.
Well, I think eventually you have to challenge yourself. I mean, not that they don't in the offseason, in the non-conference they do, but eventually I think they're probably getting to the point where they're sick of hearing, the stuff that, hey, they don't play anybody and that's why they're out every year. Eventually you want to challenge yourself and get to the point, and that'll make it much sweeter if they're able to win. I find it interesting that Jordan has them like 5-6. I kind of thought they were in the top 3. You put Kansas, Baylor, and them, and then Texas Tech, kind of as a jumbled 5.
Bro, the Big 12 really beats up on each other. They really do. There's like it's like even you'll get like West Virginia at one point fucking winning games out of nowhere, and you're just like, what is happening over there?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
wait till you get the Big Ten, Marty.
What?
So just wait till you get the Big Ten beating up on each other.
Big Ten.
They're a more physical league.
Yeah, you're physical, but you all stink. The Big Ten, honestly, the Big Ten is in the biggest, like, they have so much to prove in March. Like, they need to get a Big Ten team in the Final Four, or the champion, or just winning very soon, because they're a very hot topic in the beginning of the season all the time. Like, oh, Michigan's really good. Ohio State's going to be really good. Like, these teams, Michigan State, like, these teams are good. Obviously they're good, but it falls apart. Like, was Michigan the last Big Ten team last year?
It was us and Purdue, I think.
Purdue, yeah, because you guys were Sweet 16, right?
Purdue lost the same period.
We lost. Yeah, we lost the Sweet 16.
But staying in the Big 12, Bill Self was suspended 4 games. To me, that is just they don't think they didn't do anything that bad. They just won a national championship, so they don't give a fuck. And first 4 games doesn't matter at all. The one game it does suck. They're playing Duke that he'll miss, but like this shit doesn't matter to me at all.
Well, the truth of the matter is, though, and this is something that I've been disgusted with since it happened. That corruption case was a complete joke. The FBI put their resources into looking into college basketball. Think about that. All the problems in the world, and they put their time into college basketball. And this is really just one of those, fuck you, I'll just do the four games, and then I'll have to hear about this again. I'm sick of hearing about it. It's bullshit. I mean, it's nonsense. It's a joke. Everybody does it. And now you're paying kids anyway, so what does it really matter? It's a complete waste of resources.
You guys all just saw a little crossover in Jeff Nadu's head of his podcasts and FBI.
Well, listen, the FBI. I shouldn't talk to the FBI.
Scumbags. Say it.
Yeah, I mean the FBI are wretched human beings, wretched people, and again, that just kind of I think orchestrated that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a shame that they're still dealing with it.
It's just a nothing story. Like 4 games for a head coach. Like, what does it matter? He's going to basically coach the game anyway through who's ever stepping up for him. Like, it doesn't matter.
It's almost like when you were a kid and they would suspend you and you just get to go home. It's like, well, why is that a punishment?
I have a question for Jordan and Hunter. Do you think, like, how much does a coach actually matter in game? Honest. I want an honest opinion. I know Jordan could probably give a more of an honest opinion, but in game, how much does a coach actually matter in college?
I'd say, I think it's I've like, because I experienced it last year with a couple of events that occurred after a game. We missed our coach for a couple of games, and it's just weird not having him there, especially a guy like Jawan. Like, everybody loves him, and so it's like having his presence like not be there was definitely felt by the team. But then it's just like when you go into a game, like you're used to and Marty, like the coach isn't able to like be in this, like he isn't able to be there at all. Like he isn't able to like watch the practices or nothing like that. So he's like, it's really just the assistant coaches. And for us, it was like Phil Martelli was like the guy standing up, but Sadi would be calling the defense every time. And then Howard Isley would be calling every play. And it was just kind of weird because it's like a different like mind. Like Jawan like is his own person. And so like he'd call a game a certain way. And then you got like now two different guys like calling a game differently than Juwan would. So it was just weird because it was like just different than I've experienced in my first 2 years.
Just took a little time to get like adjusting to it.
Yeah, like just having Juwan, like his presence not be there, and having like Phil be your coach, like is just different because like Phil's not like he wasn't trying to be Juwan, like he was just gonna try to be like a guy who was kind of managing everything. Like he wasn't trying to go out there and like, like prove himself because he doesn't need to. Like the man's been coaching forever. So like he was just trying to like be a manager of everything and like put the onus on Sadi to call the defense, H call the offense, and he was just the guy like he was just kind of like the face of the team for real for however long Juwan was out for.
What about
And
you?
you look at those assistants, like no one wants to be an assistant coach. Like, let's be honest here. They're all trying to be a head coach somewhere in 99% of the situations throughout college basketball. So when that happens, there's going to be an assistant coach stepping in, and they're going to be their own person. They're not going to try to be, obviously they're going to follow the same schemes that, the head coaches follow ahead of them, but they're going to be their own person. They're going to want to win, and they're going to want to do it their own way too. So it's just it's going to be a complete different shift from having one coach, one game. Then, I've experienced it several times too. Because Coach McCaffrey's been throwing out a couple games. He called a ref a cheating motherfucker, which was the greatest thing in the world. But it's a huge shift. It really is.
Let me ask one question, you guys, as well. With some of these early games, so like we talked about Hunter's playing IPFW. How much time do you put into actually working on that team? Are you already looking at if you can't answer, I understand, but I'm always curious about that.
For us, we always look at it like as a 2-day prep. So like if we play this week was kind of weird because like you have a whole week leading up to it. Usually you don't have a week. Usually it's game, 2 days game. And so you'll have the game. And then those 2 days before, you're just going over tons of film work. We watch some film today on them. Usually you'll watch like 3 hours of film on the opponent in total around there. And then, you spend some off time. Like we have our iPad, so we got clips made up of, each player and, what the team runs and stuff like that. So you spend a lot of time.
Like a shitty team like this?
Yeah. Yeah. Because probably like the younger guys, will see that and think that way. But for me, being around college basketball for so long, you've seen freaking Louisville lose to a D2.
Right.
So you see that, and that kind of like got me like, yo, like we gotta, I gotta be locked in for this game because I'm not trying to be like them. Like, no shade to Louisville, but like you shouldn't be losing to a D2 team as a high major.
No,
for sure. For us, like that kind of woke me up and like, yo, we gotta lock in. Like Ferris State, like they gotta get our best shot because you're not only like for me. I realized like you're trying to prepare for the end of the season, and so like this game right here, you're not playing Ferris State. You're trying to play for national championship towards the end of the season. So you got to take everybody with the same kind of. And it's hard. I'll be honest, it is hard. Like you do see Ferris State, and you're like, it's Ferris State, but like
you're already looking forward to playing Amoni Bates or Virginia. Like obviously you want the bigger games, but it's got to be a little hard to get up for fucking. If your guys are saying the name, I don't care about them. I'm not going to say it. I don't even care. But you have to and also for you, this is a huge year for you. Like looking at the NBA, future, you gotta have a good year this year. No.
And that second game, they're going to be looking at that one heavy. That Bates game, that's a big time matchup for him. So all of it matters in a way.
Yeah, we do have I know I got some big matchups this year, but I think for me, just knowing that we've done a good job. Michigan does a good job of scheduling good mid majors. Like the previous years, we've played like Buffalo, we played Toledo that's playing in the tournament, and for Barstool,
didn't you fucking almost lose to Oakland last year?
That was my freshman year.
It's 2 years ago. Yeah. That upset me.
They took us to overtime. We were ranked 25 that game. After that game, they booed us out of the top 25.
Yeah, you deserved every part of it.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, like we usually play some good high major or mid majors. So I think for us, like trying to make sure that like we don't look at them as a mid major, we look at them as a team that has some guys capable of getting 20 on their own. Usually, the difference between mid major and high major is usually the big men. Usually, like the guards are high Division One talent. Like usually, you'll have a team with like two guards that are averaging above 15, and then it's usually like the big men that are like kind of like either stiff or like just unskilled. So that's probably like if people don't realize like that's usually the biggest difference between high major and mid major is the big men. Like just the difference. There's not too many 7-1 guys out there getting buckets and stuff like that.
I remember last year, Hunter, you had a really tough game against Tarleton. I remember. Do you remember that team, Tarleton State? They play like really slow. Do you remember that? You almost lost to that team. I remember that was the one game in non-conference.
We didn't almost lose to them. We beat them like 30. Bro.
No, it was 65.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tripping. That was
It was a 9-point win.
That's Prairie View I was thinking of. Yeah, no, Tarleton. Oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was tough for us because they play like 5 guards and they play super scrappy.
Super slow, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was definitely something different than similar to Oakland. Oakland played this like they played like a 1-3 or like instead of playing like a 2-3, they played like a 1-1-3, and it was something that like I've never seen before. It kind of gave us a little bit of trouble in the beginning of the season.
All right, I want to just get into the interview because the interview was about an hour, and that was actually a good conversation. We got 26 minutes in. I want to thank everyone. You're watching now. I mean, there's no basketball on, so I appreciate you listening to us morons. And we're gonna the next episode here. You're gonna have basketball on that day, so I can't wait. Our interview right now is with Jeff Goodman, and to end it, did we Hunter being a Santa Claus for Halloween is fucking wild.
Well, we have. So Juwan's wife, Miss Janine, has this Halloween party every year, and so last year I was Gru from the Minions, and then I had 2 managers that are my good friends, and so they dressed up as Minions. So this year
that's a good costume.
You're like crossing 2 holidays though. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't understand. I never understood. Usually, like if you were fat, that would make sense. Like Old Nadu would make sense as a Santa Claus. Like
I'm not even that fat anymore.
I said old Nadu.
Old. Yeah.
I don't think you're fat.
Old would have made a good one.
Hey, you did a great job. I will not make fun of you.
You're right about old one. Yeah, I would have been.
Old Nadu would be a great one. But because that's like the only costume fat people can be. But then you see a 7-1 guy be Santa Claus for Halloween. It's like, what's this guy doing?
I was also a priest another day for Halloween. I was out there blessing people.
Wow.
Throwing some holy
out
water
there
on
blessing people?
Yeah.
Jordan, what were you?
I didn't do anything this year for Halloween. We had scrimmages in Chicago.
Oh, spirit.
I was at a wedding.
Yeah.
You guys like country music?
Nadu, what were you?
Yeah.
I was at a country music star.
Yeah, Hardy.
Wedding.
Really?
Hardy, right?
Yeah, Hardy.
Yeah.
And Morgan Wallen was there. He's the boy.
Oh, that's sick.
Country people are the nicest people in the world, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, last thing. This is nothing to do with college. So when you guys go to a wedding, do you guys usually get like when you walk in, like in the reception, like when the party's gonna happen, you get like a table number?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You all get that?
Yep.
Usually, yeah.
And also, do you bring like a card? So Jordan doesn't get a table number.
Wait. Well, I guess I was in the wedding, the last one, so I don't really remember.
Yeah,
You have to know where you're sitting.
Yeah.
There's usually some sort of something that tells you, or you.
No, there should be sitting assignments.
There should. I agree. There was no seating assignment here. It's just it's a free for all.
Whoa.
I kind of like that. Sit with who you want to sit with. Like, don't.
I kind of liked it because I didn't know like everyone. It wasn't like one of my like Hardy's my boy, but like not like childhood friends. I know them for a while. Like I was just bopping around. It was kind of nice. But 2, they don't bring cards and money to the wedding. Do you guys do that, right?
Yeah, that's very weird. Like,
I did. I brought a card.
I think that's just East Coast. Like I think that like Brandon Walker said they don't do that.
Let me tell you something. If I got married and anybody came without a gift, we'd have a fucking problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but how are you gonna know? Like while you're getting married?
Because Here's the rule. Okay, Jordan, this is something I learned many years ago, but it's important. Whenever you go to a wedding, you should write down what you give to them. That way you can know if they fucked you when you get married.
That's actually facts. That's
That
actually
you're going into it too much.
No, he's
No.
right. I hate to tell Jeff Nadu he's right, but he's right. You gotta know. If your boy gives you 500, you need to give 500 back.
Yeah. And Jordan may be right in one instance, and Walker might be right too. Maybe in certain like parts of the country they don't do that. I know that's like a very like East Coast thing to give money in envelopes and shit. But
Yeah, I brought it and there was nowhere to put it. And I asked someone, they're like, "No, we don't do that. It's like just like a registry."
yeah, I think they do that. Yeah, I wouldn't.
That's
like,
what
so I
a
just-
registry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I prefer cash
I just didn't get to give it to him because there was nowhere to put it.
because the goal, Jordan, is to if you have to pay for. I mean, generally you don't pay for the wedding sometimes, but if you would, you put all of it back into the wedding, and that way the wedding is not as expensive.
Well, the girl, the family is supposed to take care of the wedding.
I think it's
Generally.
kind of changed now, though. It's not like
Oh, we're not
have to do
changing
it.
that. No, that's,
Hey,
no. That's
Hey, we
saying-
pay for the
that's
ring.
the thing.
You gotta pay for the wedding.
right. You gotta pay for the fucking ring. You gotta do something.
I can't believe you got to get 2 rings.
I mean, we're all about for like equality now. Like, what are we doing? Like, what
True.
the fuck?
Yeah, you got to stay true to that. That's true.
We can't say
All right.
one thing and do this. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Well, good. If you ever get married, I won't be giving you any money.
The
Sounds
money
good.
from the wedding should
Fine,
be
I
for
won't invite
the
you then.
honeymoon. Should be for the honeymoon.
Yes, that's true.
Well, this is the only place you're gonna get college basketball and wedding advice from 4 people that are not married. So,
And never will be.
I will be.
I
Well, yeah,
You think
you
get married,
know.
Nadu?
No. Marriage is a scam, bro.
You want kids?
Bro, I work my whole life, and if she divorces me, she gets to take half. Fuck up for what?
Don't
But
get
she
they
do?
have something that you can sign that
Yeah, prenup. I'm not doing that.
prenup.
No,
You also could just like love a girl and not get married, like not get divorced.
I don't believe in
maybe it's not
divorce.
the right one to do. Start breaking them down.
Maybe. Never say never, I guess.
All right, that's
We got to get to Goodman.
Enough of this
For sure.
episode.
Let's
Let's
get to
get to
Goodman,
Jeff Goodman. Listen, make sure you listen. There's a lot of good information here. We break down a couple teams. There's a fight in the middle. We press him about Hunter not being one of his top big men, which I still think is bullshit. But listen to Jeff Goodman now, and we'll also see you on Monday. 2 episodes a week. See you guys.
Yep.
All right. I want to welcome on a very special guest, a man who just knows everything about college basketball. You ask him anything, and ask him a 6-man on a mid-major team, he probably knows it. His name is Jeff Goodman. How we doing, my man?
Jeff.
What's up, Marty? How are you guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Good to be on and with 2 of my favorite guys on the planet. And it's not the guy in the top left corner or you, Marty. I'm sorry, but it is Hunter and Jordan. I've known these guys a while, and it's my pleasure to be on.
So I wanted you on. Obviously, I want to talk some college basketball. But you commented on one of our clips, our first clips that went out of Roundball podcast. Who's the clown on the top left? Talking about Brad McCaffrey and going on. So I just want to address it right away. Why do you think the top left man, Jeff Nadu, is a clown?
No, I just thought what he was saying there, Jeff, was a little disrespectful that anybody can get in the NCAA tournament. Now, anybody can get in if they expand this shit to 90, okay? Then it's going to be a bunch of bullshit. But right now it's 60, and I think it should still be a 64. Like, I don't like the first 4 guys. It does nothing for me for the most part. I would have kept it at 64 and still would. I listen, Jeff, I don't like it's not easy to get in. It's not easy.
Jeff. Listen,
It's
let me
not.
ask you something. You know damn well that as a Big Ten Power 5 team, they would have to be awful to not get in the NCAA tournament at Iowa. It's not difficult, Jeff. And the fact that he's never gotten past the top 32, I don't mind. I don't know the guy as a man. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know him. I just don't.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
And Jeff,
He's a great
to be
guy.
fair,
Real good guy.
If I could just say one thing, Jeff, you're how old? 50-ish?
I'm 100.
That's how you behave on Twitter? I, mean, I don't even know you. I never contact you. I don't know you.
No, I don't
Don't
know
you think
why
I
I
was
blocked
out of
you.
line?
I have no idea why I blocked you because I don't really block that many people, to be honest. Like, I really don't block many people.
But you
In
did also
fact,
call me a clown, though, Jeff, and I don't even know you.
I enjoy when people go at me and are creative. And usually I block people that are honestly are just kind of annoying. I guess is probably the word for it. I don't know if you were annoying. I don't remember what you did for me to block you, but I just thought it was disrespectful what you were saying.
Well, I guess I'll ask you then.
To get in.
Then I guess I'll ask you, do you think it is acceptable in 10 plus years of coaching to never get past around at 32? Is that unacceptable for a fan base that is as good as I was? Do you think that's acceptable as a coach?
I would say, yes, you have a reason. And I wasn't commenting on that.
That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't commenting on your Iowa stance. I was commenting more on your over. I don't think I even got to the Iowa part. I think I turned it off and called you a clown.
Okay, so I'll ask a question based on
we
what
got
you
to
said.
the Iowa part. I think it was more about that anybody can get in the NCAA tournament.
But as a Power 5 Big Ten team, you likely have to be horrific to not get in. You have to be like,
you got to be like 19 and 15 or something like that.
Or no, in conference you have to like win 2 or 3 games. Like it's literally impossible.
Well, I think you got to be 2 games under 500. I mean, that's basically what it is. If you get 2 games under 500, you play people in the non-conference, you're going to get in.
But with the type of teams they're getting, and getting players like Jordan and Luka and Keegan Murray and guys like that, which I'll give Frank credit.
No,
Keegan
we
Murray.
talked about this. We weren't the
we
players
talked
we
about
were
this.
when we were getting
They
recruited.
weren't highly recruited. None of them.
Player.
Right. But again, you're getting those types of players, which are better than whoever Nebraska gets. Let's just be honest.
That's
All I'm
not
saying
true.
is,
I mean,
Not
Nebraska got a 5-star last year.
okay. So are we splitting hairs here? So
You know
again,
what it is too? Wait, Jeff. Part of it is also that it's not apples and apples. And I learned this years ago. Okay. When I was young, I crushed Tubby Smith when he was at Kentucky for not getting players. And then as I got older, I understood that, you know what? Tubby wasn't cheating his balls off. He wasn't. He was doing it the right way. That's why he wasn't getting players. So I remember I apologized to Tubby. Had to be, 7 or 8 years after that. I think it was at Minnesota at that point. And I apologized to him. I said, like, man, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at that point that it's not apples and apples. Some guys are cheating, and now everybody's legally cheating, some more than others. But Hunter's laughing at that because, but it's true. It is true. Like, come on. Guys aren't paying recruits.
Oh,
Yeah, but if the money wants to go to the athlete, well, let it be.
I'm just saying the supposed rule is you can't entice recruits with NIL.
Yeah.
That's happening. That's happening everywhere.
That's like the first or second thing these parents are asking. I've been at the recruiting dinners. So that's like the first or second thing parents are asking. They're like, "Yo, we got this offer from this person."
My biggest problem, Hunter, you went to the right place, right? You went to a perfect place for you at Michigan. Well, what if you were coming out of high school and Michigan couldn't offer NIL and some other place offered you 2x, 3 times the money? Maybe coming out of high school, they offered you $500,000. Michigan can only offer you $100,000. You go to that other place and it wasn't the right place for you, but you went strictly for that money.
No doubt. If somebody's when it's like that, that's like you got to think about it from like a business perspective. You're a business at that point. You only got a finite amount of time as a player to kind of cash in on that. So if somebody was offering me way more money coming out of high school than
you would have done
in college, yeah, for sure.
You weren't mature enough necessarily to look long term and say like, well, the money's here, but long term, Michigan is the best place for me to develop and eventually make the NBA.
Yeah, I think I was blessed, with good parents. I think my parents would have definitely, thought long term for me, but me thinking short term with my 19, 18-year-old body would have definitely.
28 years old, I'd still fucking take any more money to go.
I'm with you. I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's not even like mature. Like I know what you mean by 18, but like when you're 18, you'll say like, if mid majors I offer me double, it's like, all right, I'm gonna play there more probably, and I'm gonna take it.
Well, because you don't know. Again, you don't know what your career path's going to be. Now, if you're an elite level player that is going to be in the NBA, you should be smart enough to say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm playing for the contract. I'm playing for the NBA contract or the second contract. I'm going somewhere where I can be the guy. Like DJ Wagner is a good example right now. He's coming out, top high school player, one of them. DeJuan Wagner's kid. It's Louisville, Kentucky. To me, I look at it and say, and I think he's going to go to Kentucky because of the Nike connection. But I look at it and say, like, he goes to Louisville, he's going to average 20 a game. There's nobody else there. He goes to Kentucky, you don't know what you're going to average.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's 100% true. You could be the guy somewhere else, and you're never going to be, basically never going to be the guy at Kentucky.
Well, I do have to say, Jeff is a lot more likable than I thought he would be.
That
being said, I will also say,
was he killing me before this? Was he
he wasn't going to come on.
No, I wasn't not going to come on. I was just going to. I wanted to be like a lot. I wanted to be a bigger dick, I guess. That being said, I will also say when it comes to winning,
You wanted to have that BDE, huh?
I'm from the Philadelphia area, and I expect every team that I have to win a championship.
All right, so can I give you? You're going to like me even more. Hold on.
This guy's kind of
likable. Look at the dude with the soft spot.
Huh? He's somewhat likable. I can't lie.
This is cute.
Oh, beautiful. Wilbur Montgomery. Beautiful.
Listen, I grew up in Boston. Awesome. My favorite player was Andrew Toney.
Beautiful.
Love Mike Quick, Wilbur Montgomery. I'm old again. These dudes have never heard of these guys.
Well, Mike Quick is he's play-by-play. It's a color guy of the Eagles now. So.
Wow, this is so beautiful,
I thought it'd be a lot more hateable, but he's not.
Oh, is this a bet?
Tell you, he's a good guy.
Is this a best friend relationship happening?
I just don't like mediocrity, and I guess for me, maybe I take it too seriously with a team that just does. Like, I feel like they should have been better, and like I feel like Jordan and Luka, like those teams should have been better to me. And to me, as a 10-point favorite, you should not lose outright to Richmond. That being said, I like Chris Mooney, I like the program, but you shouldn't lose in that game. That's all I'm trying to say. And it seems like it's a long mediocre career to me. But
the counter argument was you were discrediting how hard it was to get to the NCAA.
Well, I don't think it's difficult as a Power 5 program. I really don't.
That is not true.
That's just not factual. But it's opinions either way. But
there's like 20 teams. Okay, like listen, there's 20 elite programs that are way better, that have more resources than Iowa every year, at least 20. And I'm being conservative. Then you've got all these spots for automatic bids. So really, you're talking really fighting for like 20 spots if you're Iowa. Because, again, Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, UCLA, Arizona, Michigan to some extent, right, I would say is in that category now with the brand. And now that you got some NIL, a little bit. They're in there. They're in that top 20. I don't know where they are. It'd be interesting to poll people and find out where Michigan is now. But I think Iowa is not there and never will be there.
Yeah, but Jeff, I feel like, though, then again, they're a top 30 program seemingly every year. And
but they're and they're overachieving, because if you ranked them based on, again, players in the state, there's nobody generally. Very, very few people come out of Iowa that are good enough to play at Iowa. And then you look at resources and you look at facilities and some of those other things, NIL now, Iowa would not be in the top 30. There's no way.
Jordan, where'd you get recruited?
DePaul, Lehigh, South Dakota State.
There you go. And that's Fran McCaffrey finding someone out of nowhere, really, to make him into a player that everyone knows in college basketball, where has like a 400 threes. It's like,
you know what?
Jordan is a top player going to Iowa. He just became one because of
it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter what state you're in, what city you're in. If you are a good coach and people want to play for you, it does not matter. Just that simple.
But where are you going to go? Like, if you're Fran McCaffrey, you're not going into Michigan and getting a really good player. You're not. You're not beating Michigan and Michigan State. You're not going to D.C. The reason Michigan was able to go to D.C. was because of their brand. Iowa just doesn't have that. He's got to honestly evaluate and develop guys.
Yeah.
And you got to have more kids.
And to piggyback off Jeff, what you're saying, also, like, you got to look at the other programs that are ahead of Iowa in resources in the Big Ten alone. Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue. That's 3 teams already. Indiana, that's Ohio 4 teams State. Already. Ohio State. Iowa's always going to be in the middle of the pack based off just that alone, and that alone is a huge recruiting enticement for a lot of these recruits coming out.
I think the argument was more on McCaffrey as a coach. That was probably, I should have made that a little bit more clear. But it's definitely opened my eyes a little bit, but I still don't think he's a good coach. And I think I'll probably beat someone. Well, again, bad defenses every year, and they continue to be the same team. So I guess we'll
Also, who the fuck wants to go to Iowa? I didn't
No
know what
one.
Iowa
Hey,
was.
man.
I'm
Hey,
from New
chill.
York. I don't know-
No,
I don't know what Iowa is.
we ain't doing this. No, we're not doing
I
this.
was rough.
I mean,
too.
No, we're not
Jordan,
doing
man,
that.
it is.
Nope.
It is.
We're not discrediting Iowa. Nope.
That's true.
It's
You
a little
guys
rough.
love corn. That's good. You
Jordan's got a lot of
No.
money to be made in that state. We got to be careful.
We ain't discrediting that.
All
No.
right. To switch topics, because there's one guy on this podcast that can't say fuck you to Goodman, so I'm going to say fuck you to you for him, okay? I saw you tweeted today your preseason All-Americans first team,
I did.
and I saw that there wasn't one guy's name, Hunter Dickinson, on there. What's the reason for that?
You got to give him some credit for coming on after not putting him on. I mean, he's right here.
Listen, Hunter knows what I think of him. He's known what I've thought of him since high school when I think you beat the shit out of Wiseman was the first time I ever saw you play. You beat the shit out of him. My biggest thing why Hunter wasn't on the first team wasn't to do – well, first of all, Oscar's got to be your first player, period. As a returning preseason player of the year, he's got to be your first player. Who else did I have? I had
Baycott.
I had Baycott because, again, they're the number one team in the country. Okay, like Baycott, you're splitting hairs to me between Baycott and Hunter, but you got to give the edge to the guy that's on the team that has a chance to win the whole thing. Then I had two guards.
Timmy.
Yeah, you had
I had Timmy. I had Timmy over you. Again, it's team. It's team. Gonzaga has a chance to win the whole thing. Certainly get to the Final Four again. I don't think Michigan has that chance, to be honest. I don't.
We look good in our scrimmage. We look good in our scrimmage, Jeff.
Dude, the scrimmage
Who'd you
doesn't
play?
mean anything.
Who'd you play?
Florida State.
Bro, you know as well as I know that the scrimmages don't mean shit.
Hunter, let me hear about your fucking team. Do you think your
And
team can win the championship this year?
Hey, man, we're gonna be right there, Marty.
You know what it is? We don't know. That's the problem with Michigan is there's so much turnover on that team. So many freshmen.
That's true.
Obviously, a key transfer in Jalen Llewellyn. We don't know yet. Where we know with I think I know with North Carolina. Again, it's whether it's post March 5th North Carolina or pre March 5th North Carolina.
That's what I was.
That's what I'm saying, Jeff. Like, if you really think about it, before that tournament, nobody was thinking about North Carolina.
Hell
They
no.
were before the NCAA tournament. They were a borderline tournament team.
Before March 5th, before they pounded Duke at Duke on
Yeah.
Coach K.
Yeah,
We don't need
before
to
that.
Ooh. Should we bring that up, Marty?
They
No.
did beat Coach K in his last game.
No, I don't remember that at
That
all.
was rough, Marty.
Yikes.
That was
There's a
rough.
lot
That's
of-
like,
there's a lot of bad things happen in the world. I was not there that day. I
then
forgot.
they made him. Then they made him give a speech after the game.
Oh, that was
Yikes.
Let me
awkward.
tell you, that's
Oh,
So awkward, guys.
what are we doing here?
the
You
players
don't want to
must have,
revisit this?
I was sad for so fucking long.
I feel like as a player on that team, they should have just ran themselves for like hours after that game.
Yeah.
You should have seen. I was
I'll
sitting
ask Joey what they
directly
did.
across from Paolo. It looked like he had been knocked down 3 times in a 10-round fight. Like his eyes were glazed over. It was just one of those things where everybody was in shock. Everybody in the whole arena was in complete shock because, again, we thought Duke was just going to run them.
You bring 100 of your alumni back, you got to win.
You
And,
think?
and like Duke alumni is not just alumni. This is fucking real ass people.
Celebrities.
Leitner,
like-
yeah, you had everybody.
So
That's
bad.
crazy.
I just think that's the difference for me is, again, when you're talking about the difference between those guys, and you can throw them in a hat to me, whether it's Oscar, Baycott, Hunter, Trace, all those, the bigs, you can put them in a hat and they're very close. I think it comes down to me, team, Drew Timme, Oscar, and obviously, Baycott. What's separate? That's why I did it. To be honest,
I'm not even just trying to suck off Hunter here, but I'm just saying I think Hunter creating himself with a 3-point now puts him above Baycott a little bit because he can take Baycott and him like I just splitting hairs, but Baycott can't be going on the shooting threes all the time. And Hunter, how many did you hit last year? More than you ever probably have.
But again, you
I
have to
hit
put
a
him
lot, I
up.
hit a
You
lot.
have to put him in though, because they're the number one team in the country.
No,
Yeah.
I get this
No,
point.
like Jeff
Yeah, I
said,
get that.
the team has a lot to do with like postseason accolades. Like my freshman year, I was a second team All-American. I averaged like 14.6, and then last year I increased everything in stats wise, and I wasn't even honorable mention. So Jeff's right. The team has a lot to do with it. So if that's how he based it off of, that's fair.
Yeah. So Jeff, I just want to ask you who would be like a dark horse team to look out for this year?
Jeff's gonna love this one. I think Iowa. I do. I think Iowa's gonna be good. I do. I really do. I think this is the year. And I know this is crazy because obviously you're losing two elite players in terms of what they did in Jordan, his leadership, and shooting the three, and obviously Keegan. I think they return enough, a lot of good pieces. Now, the key is point guard play for them. But to me, I look around the league and I say, who's got good point guard play? Who's got really good point guard play?
Yeah.
Duke does, yeah.
No. Well, no, he's talking about the Big Ten.
Big Ten.
There's only like as returning guards. There's only like three.
Xavier
There's only, like,
Johnson for
three.
sure. I mean, he's a veteran. He's gonna
The two
come
at
in and play
Michigan
well.
State.
Sky
But
Clark.
they weren't. Come on, AJ Hogarth was good, right? Tyson Walker was good. He actually was really bad early. Both of them weren't great early.
I like AJ a lot. I like AJ.
Xavier
I like his game a
Johnson.
lot.
Xavier Johnson wasn't good for the first half, and he was great down the stretch. Again, will he pick up where he left? All I'm saying is Iowa's weakness, in my opinion, is everybody's weakness. And I like Bowen, the kid they got coming in from Brewster Academy. I think he's good. Ulyss is good. But to me, it's the other guys that I think you have 3 or 4 guys that are all going to average 13, 14, 15. Chris Murray might average a little bit more than that. And I think they're going to be out there. Finally, I think they're going to have a chance. And the Big Ten is weak this year. Let's be honest.
Weaker than normal, yes. For
Always
sure.
the top. Yeah, they're always
right. Like there's no team, Hunter, that you go in and you say, holy shit, I'm scared. We can't beat that team. Not that you did that in the last 2 years. But
I don't think I ever did that.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, if the top team is an Indiana team, and again, my daughter goes to Indiana, so I got to be careful what I say. But if the top team is an Indiana team that needed to beat you guys in Illinois just to get to the first 4 and get steamrolled by Randy Bennett in the NCAA tournament, by the way, that's the best team. And again, Jalen Hood-Schifino is really good. Like, they're going to be better. I'm not saying they're not. But if that's the best team in the Big Ten, to me, I don't know if there's a Big Ten team capable of going to the Final Four.
If they had a shooter, I think it would be a totally different
That's what I'm
scenario.
saying. If they can shoot, they can make it to a Final Four.
Because I will give them this. When we played them in the Big Ten semifinal game, that they played – people discredit them how they played because we won. They played phenomenally that week into that game. Like, they played really, really well against us.
But no shooters, like you said.
But no, they don't have shooters.
Like Miller Kopp could be. And
Miller Kopp could be. And then Race,
he's not a shooter.
He can hit an open shot. But other than that, they lost Parker Stewart.
Yeah, and they've got, again, like, they've got a couple other guys that might be able, like Tamar Bates might be able to do it if he takes a jump. He didn't make him last year. But they'll be good. I'm not saying they're not going to be good. But I would just say, if you look around the league, you say to yourself, like, all right, where's the dominant team? There usually is in the Big Ten multiple dominant teams that you think have a chance to get to a Final Four and win it all. And maybe I'll be wrong here, but I just feel like if I'm ranking Indiana, and I was probably being generous at putting them at like 10 or 11 preseason.
So Jeff, let me ask you, you think they're good enough to win a Big Ten?
Who?
Iowa. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think it's as far as Chris Murray takes him. If he does make this jump like everybody's expecting, then I could see it. But I also got to see that jump first. It's not easy going from.
I I don't agree with that though. Like I think the team, how our offensive scheme works, it's not necessarily on Chris to make that jump. They're gonna have guys like Jeff is talking about. There's gonna be 3 to 4 guys that are gonna be averaging 14, 15.
Perkins.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot less shooting this year in Iowa.
Sanford's
I
gonna be
mean,
good.
Payton's gonna be one of those guys. He's gonna come in and make 60 to 83s this year. I mean, he's gonna be one of those guys.
That's a Joe
So-
Wieskamp copycat right there.
He's the Iowa boy. That's all he can do in Iowa.
Can
I
they
wouldn't-
defend?
I
Can they
wouldn't
defend?
say shit, Hunter.
I don't know if they can guard, Jeff. That is going to be the big thing still. If they're better defensively, they don't have to be great, but they just got to be better.
Let me ask you, what do you think they have to be to actually, because they haven't been top 70 since 2016, and that year they were 30th and they lost in the first round after beating Temple in overtime. I don't want to make this about Iowa because I do want to ask you about Texas, but
Yeah.
what do you honestly think? Like, what do they have to do to like, are they capable of doing that? Like being good defensively?
I don't know, and you need that in the NCAA tournament, right? Because you're going to have a bad shooting night. You are. You're not always going to shoot the hell out of the basketball.
Definitely.
If you have one of those, you're done. So I agree with you to some extent. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Final Four or the Elite Eight. I'm saying they have a chance to win the Big Ten regular season. That's what I'm saying. They're a sleeper team. I have 20th in the preseason. Nobody else probably has them ranked anywhere. I didn't do that because Jordan, I was coming on tonight.
Where are we ranked, Jeff?
You're not in the top 25.
I mean,
Oof.
Hunter, you're getting disrespected in this.
Oh my God.
Hunter's gonna be done with me.
Jeff, we're not better than Iowa. Come on now.
Wow, he's gonna kill Iowa on the pod now.
No,
Yeah.
Hey,
I think you're top
Luka,
35.
Jordan.
I don't think 25.
come on
Who
now.
else
We're
is
not better
proven?
than Iowa right now.
Who else at Michigan is proven?
Who at Iowa's proven?
Well, I mean,
They
again,
have guys that have
Chris
proven
Murray,
themselves
Patrick
last year.
McCaffrey, Perkins. They're all at about 10 a game.
Payton played really well down the stretch.
Yeah, but Jeff,
Postseason.
let me ask you. You wouldn't agree that – I mean, Llewellyn is an upgrade over Devontae Jones, right?
We don't know.
Do you
don't
think
know.
on paper he is?
I would think so, but we
Yeah.
thought Devontae was going to be really good last year.
Yeah, that's
He
a good
struggled
point.
for
I
most
thought he would be really good there, and he
Yeah.
was kind of disappointing. So.
I don't
He
know.
was solid. He was solid. I'm not gonna,
All I know is Hunter, tell him how you were texting me about Llewellyn.
he's nice. And I'm
No,
telling
you
you,
remember
I was
when
sleeping-
you were thinking about getting him? When you heard his name, you were hitting me up, and I was getting you
I was
scouting
like,
reports from
oh,
all
yeah,
the Ivy
yeah.
League coaches.
Yeah,
He's very
I mean,
good.
man. If he can shoot 40% like he did last year, we'll be really good. I'm telling you, y'all are sleeping on my man Joey Baker, Jeff. I'm telling you.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Oh,
too.
here we go.
Marty.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm
Marty,
sleeping.
Marty,
I've been
Marty.
sleeping for fucking 4 years, Hunter. He's
Marty,
the
I'm
best
telling you.
practice shooter in the
No.
world.
No, Marty.
Hey, Marty.
Coach K did not like the man. I'm telling you, this is inside information from Duke.
Yeah,
Coach
I didn't
K
like
was
him
not
either because he
vibing
could shoot the ball in the basket.
Well,
I'm
obviously
telling
he
you.
doesn't like him. He pulled him out of his red shirt not to play him that first year.
Hey, I'm telling you, Marty, Joey Baker this year is going to.
You're telling me
He's gonna turn
Coach
some
K
heads.
just didn't like him?
Yes.
He would know.
He had a
All
thing
sorts of
against
breaking
him.
news on this pod.
Yeah, is
Coming
this
from
like
coaches, players on the team.
I saw you killed Mark Adams in the first one.
Yeah, he's a freaking.
He hates Mark.
Hey, Texas Tech fans hate me again. So they hated
I
me
saw
last year.
I saw Raider Nation was tweeting at you today.
Raider
Hated
Nation's
me
crazy.
last year. Then I flipped them quickly, and I went down there, and I went down for that Texas game, which, by the way, and this will be a good transition for you, Jeff, going into Texas, but that might have been the best atmosphere I've ever been at. And I've been at, you name it, like Eric Gordon going to Illinois, Duke, Carolina games, countless, whatever. I'm telling you, the hatred of Chris Beard there and just the whole atmosphere was awesome in a way, because you go there and it's 75 degrees and they've got beer trucks out the day before, not even the night before or the day of the game. Beer trucks, big screen TVs right outside of the arena, outside, everybody drinking, everybody eating. And then the best part, so they get me up there on this like podium and they're yelling and they're trying to get me to shotgun a beer up there. And a former player had just done it. So he did it next to me, and then they're yelling my name for me to shotgun a beer. And I'm like, all right, two things are going through my head. Number one, most importantly, I haven't shotgun a beer in like 25 years. Can I do it? Am I going to make a complete fool out of myself if I try to shotgun a beer and like it fails or something?
Yeah.
Number two, the video. Like, the video is going to be out there. Whether I succeed or not, it doesn't matter. The video is going to be out there, and we probably don't need that. So, but their fan base, I mean, again, Chris Beard walked in with like surrounded by cops onto the court. Their fans are absolutely insane. So I got them. They loved me when I was there. Now they hate me again today because I didn't put them in the top 25.
I wanted to ask you this because you deal with a lot of the college fan bases across the country. And I know we've talked about this before. What is the worst fan base that you have experienced?
I mean, I had
social media and
I unlisted my phone number years ago because of Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Kentucky fans are crazy. They love their basketball in Kentucky, bro. I respect it.
Different.
And I respect Texas Tech fans. I have no beef with Texas.
No,
Tech
they're good. Like, again,
they're great fans.
I'm love that shit. Like, you can hate me all you want. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean,
go to my Twitter.
Yeah, you get it all the time. I mean, I went to Arizona and I would have to go back to Arizona for games and again check in under a different name. They hated me in Arizona so much. They like me now. Now they're okay with me. But there was a stretch there. I think I've been hated by probably Michigan fans hated me.
Iowa.
Yeah, come on.
Iowa fans hated me. Yes, they hated me.
Yeah,
you don't have us in the top 25, Jeff. What are you doing?
Well, Michigan fans, you know what it was? You know what it dates back to? Was I reported
the Trey Burke.
Yeah,
you told me the Trey Burke.
I reported that Trey Burke was leaving after his freshman year and going pro. Okay. I got it from Trey Burke at that point, but I had to use source. He didn't want to let me use it from him. So I put it out there. After his freshman year, he goes back. He meets with Beeline and his father, cleans out his apartment. He's done. Meets with Beeline and his father. And they're like, you ain't going anywhere. You're going back for your sophomore year. Obviously, it was a great move. He had an unbelievable sophomore year. So I remember we're at the Final Four before the championship game. And I go up to him. I'm like, Trey, hey, man, do you give a shit? Can I just say it was you? Because I'm getting killed by Michigan fans. And, like, I got him at the right time. I mean, he's playing in the national title game. He doesn't give a shit what I said. He's like, yeah, just put it out there. It doesn't matter.
That's great.
Jeff, I got to talk to you about my personal highlight of the offseason. I was so proud of myself. You got to hear about this. Okay. So I make a top 100 every year. Okay. And I've been big into Texas. I adore Chris Beard. You think about how much I don't like the individual we talked about before. I love Beard. Yeah. He's my favorite coach. And I personally felt like Texas was a top 10 offensive and defensive team. I had them ranked 4th preseason in the entire country. I think they're Final Four type of team. Then I see Ken Pomeroy put them at 2nd, and I felt super proud. I think they're a Final Four team. I love Jabari Rice. I liked him at New Mexico State. I didn't think Trey Mitchell fit them really at all. And now he's at West Virginia. That's going to be a great game when they play each other. They have all these guys coming back. They've got good guard play. And defensively, I think they're going to be nasty. What do you think about Texas? You have them, 10th?
Yeah, I love them, though. I had them 2 last year in the preseason, and I'm as big a Beard fan as there is. I've known him for like 20 years. He disappeared off the whole grid when Billy Gillespie got the Texas Tech job. He was working for Pat Knight, and before that, Bob Knight as an assistant. Bully Clyde, as I call him, not Billy Clyde, because Billy Clyde Gillespie is a bad dude. Bully Clyde took over, and they didn't see eye to eye, and Beard ended up going like ABA, Division III, Division II, Division I, whatever. He goes to Arkansas Little Rock, flips that thing right away, goes to Texas Tech, and to me, again, the Texas Tech fans hate him, but he was the architect of that deal. And now, last year, he takes over Texas, and you and I are on the same page here. Like, I thought they were going to be really good last year. Too many new guys at a new spot. So he didn't have the culture. Like, you can bring in a bunch of new guys as long as you already have the culture. Like, Michigan's done that this year to some degree. I mean, you had some holdovers, but a lot of new faces, new roles, whatever. But the culture's already established there from Beeline now to Juwan Howard. Well, culture wasn't really established in Texas. So he brought in all these new dudes, and there were a bunch of losing players. And I remember talking to Timmy Allen about that when I was down there in the preseason last year. And they all knew it, right? That the Texas holdovers had just lost to Abilene Christian, team full of like dudes my size. And then the guys they brought in, Dylan Disu from Vandy, Timmy Allen from Utah, who else did they bring in? Marcus Carr from Minnesota. They had all lost. They were all players. None of them had won. Mm-hmm. So I think, again, it was like they went to the portal and just took a bunch of dudes that had numbers and try to throw them together, and you just can't do that in a new spot. Now, kept some guys, brought in some really, really good freshmen, brought in Tyrese Hunter, who's a stud from Iowa State. Can't really shoot it yet, and he needs to take care of the ball better, but he's talented as hell. And Dylan Mitchell is a freak athlete as a freshman. So I think Texas could get to the Final Four this year. It would not shock me at all.
So you can get Beard for us on the podcast?
Yeah, easy.
I would actually fucking
I might
easy.
I don't know if I'll be able to talk with him here. I love Chris Beard.
I'm holding you to that, Goodman. But
Beard, I'm going out for the Texas Gonzaga game. So I was there a couple of years ago for the Kentucky game. Kentucky played Texas Tech, and the game ended at like 5:30 at night. Something like it was like I think it was like a 3:00 game. Ends at 5:30. I didn't leave.
That's a horrible time.
It was horrible because they lost, and we were in there watching film. It was me, Beard, Doug Gottlieb, and Bob Donwald, his assistant. We were there watching film till like 2:30 in the morning. I had a flight out the next morning. I'm finally like, Beard, like I gotta fucking go. Like, no way. He will sit now. He'll watch film and he'll tell stories throughout. And he'll drink beer. So like it's not as bad as it sounds.
And he's drinking beer this year.
He is drinking beer again. That's right.
He did say that. So I have a question about the frauds of UNC. So they are number one again. Last year was UCLA. They did basically the same exact thing as UNC did. No one really cared about them, and all of a sudden they went on an unbelievable run and they returned everybody. And they were okay last year, UCLA. UNC, same exact thing this year. Do you think they have any of that? Like, do you think it's definite dominance right away, or they kind of pull a UCLA?
I think they'll be okay. I do. And again, I questioned him for most of the year last year. Hunter's buddy, Mondo, went after me. Actually, it was pretty good at the Final Four. He called me out because I called him soft. We were doing a tournament early in the year at Mohegan Sun, and we did like a post-game show on Field of 68. And they were literally like 5 feet away after the game, talking to their families, the players. They were like right over there. And I called them soft, and I think they heard. And they kind of remembered it. And I guess Hubert Davis told me he played the clip for him too later in the year to basically motivate him or help motivate him. Because, you know, like coaches, you guys tune out at a certain point, and sometimes you need somebody else to get pissed off at. So,
for sure.
Mondo, when I got the microphone at the Final Four, he looks at me, starts smiling. He's like, "I've been waiting for you." And I'm like, all right, give it to me, man. Give it to me. But yeah, listen, they're talented. They're older. I love RJ Davis. I love Mondo. Caleb Love is a little hot and cold for me, but they can afford to have that because RJ's gotten so much better. Leaky Black buys into his role. Pete Nance is a huge. I'll be curious. You guys both. Okay, so give me both of your guys' take on that. Is Pete Nance? He's not Brady Manick, but he shot like 43%.
I think he's better than Brady Manick. I'm a huge Pete Nance fan.
Me too.
I think
Me too.
I thought he was the most underrated player in the Big Ten, in my opinion. Like that dude can do it all. I think he's an upgrade from Brady Manick, in my opinion.
Because he can guard.
Hey, well,
right?
he's just
he can really
he can put it on the ground. Like he can put it on the ground too. Like he can dribble at 6'10". He's super athletic.
Yeah.
I don't think he realizes how good he can be.
Facts.
That's my point of him. He is a professional basketball player, but I don't think his mind is there realizing that he has the skills to do that. But you also have to think about, though, you're playing at Northwestern. I mean, I love Collins. He's one of my favorite coaches in the league, but for whatever reason, they could not figure it out at Northwestern. And that's tough for having a guy that has that skill set to be in that system for that long.
Yeah, that's the difference, Marty, is if they didn't get Pete Nance, I would be like, you know what? I'm not buying them as a national title because Brady Manick gave them so much, right? He gave them that stretch big that they needed. And he got tougher. Like he was kind of soft early and he got much tougher. And I thought he and RJ Davis were the difference. Baycott did it all year, right? Caleb Love was up and down for the most part. Those two, I thought, really made Carolina into what they were after March 5th.
That's not what he wanted to hear.
I hate that team so fucking much.
The only problem is their depth. They never have much depth. Like I don't. Besides that first five is probably the best five college basketball. But other than that, who are some other players on that roster?
They got Seth Trimble, who I saw, who's a freshman point guard, who could take a little bit of the pressure off, so they don't have to play RJ quite as many minutes or Caleb. Kid Jalen Washington. Like, you're right, but Hubert said to me a few weeks back, he said, I'm going to play my bench more. I have them. I'm going to play them more no matter what this year.
Are you a proponent of, you know how Coach McCaffrey, he likes to go deep into his bench, 10, 11 guys normally, right? What's your thought on, because some of these teams are, I mean, you look at, they play 7, 8 guys most of the year.
What's up?
So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what do you think is more efficient?
Well, I think come February, I think you should eight guys is basically what you should be playing most of the time. But I think early on in the season it's fine because you want to figure out, especially these days with so much turnover, you don't know what you have. Like a lot of times, Iowa knows what they have to some degree. You know, DeSante Bowen, they don't quite know yet whether he could take maybe minutes from Ulis, if they're going to split it at the point or whatnot. You know, but for the most part, like guys don't know. So I feel like early on in the season, that's when you're going to try to figure out what you have. But the problem with that is those games are so damn important in the non-conference, not just for you, but for your league, which in turn makes it important for you. Now, again, the Big Ten, not quite as important, but look at like ACC last year, Pac-12 every year. They don't win in November and December. Thus, they're at a point where they're getting 4 teams in every single year. No matter how much better your team might get in January, February, it doesn't matter because we've already determined your league stinks. So no matter if you're beating teams in your league and they're not a top 25 team, we don't value it.
That's what the average fan doesn't understand in basketball. Like,
sucks.
We're like last year, I'm sure Hunter's the same way. You were cheering for the Big Ten during before the league play starts because you want those teams to be at the best when league comes. Because if they're not, what are you playing for in February?
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing there.
Hunter's not cheering for Michigan State. Let's be honest.
No, you're not.
No. Yeah, no chance.
But you're talking about beating the teams that beat nobody, who I can't also stand. But this year they're playing everyone. Is Gonzaga? Yeah. Because I get into fights with everyone every single year. It's like they play nobody. They play literally the school of the blind, and that's it. But this year they're playing.
Come on, dude, stop with this.
What?
They have the toughest non-conference schedule every year.
But they play. In fucking November, bro. And no one knows who you are.
They can't control their league.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, their league is so bad. This is why they're never going to win.
Dude, I'll tell you, St. Mary's. You put St. Mary's in the Big Ten.
St. Mary's is good. St. Mary's is good.
Oh my, get out of here, bro.
They're good.
Everybody would beat St. Mary's. Come on now.
No, you're out of your mind.
No, they wouldn't.
No.
You are crazy.
Bro, they sneak up on them. Bro, come on now. Really? We're thinking St. Mary's and BYU are a Big Ten team. Get out of
here.
They could definitely compete in the Big Ten, Hunter.
No question.
No, the Big Ten
bro, shut up.
Are they beating?
Bro, stop.
They're not beating Rutgers.
The Big Ten
they're not beating Rutgers, and Rutgers is usually a middle of the pack team. They're not beating Rutgers.
They're beating Rutgers.
No.
Agreed.
They're beating Rutgers. They are. They're beating Rutgers.
You see how they play?
They're not going
absolutely.
They're not going into Rutgers and beating.
Dude, they've had pros too. Look at who they've had come out of that program.
Dellavedova.
Pro upon pro. Dellavedova, Patty Mills. Like,
hey, Jeff, let me give you a name too. Omar Samhan.
Loved Omar.
The Sandman.
But the thing about Gonzaga is they play guys like Jordan knows this. There's a huge difference between playing a top 10 team non-conference at the beginning of the year and playing a top 10 team in conference in January. It's a
That's a
100%
good
difference. Like
point.
having somebody who they have no film on you, like to an extent, they have no film on you, and they don't know what set you run is totally different than going into Michigan State, Illinois, and having to play them for the second time. Like playing against Texas in the preseason when they're top 5 at Texas, even though it's at Texas, is not the same as playing
But even what
somebody.
you just said, Jeff, too, was like there's so much turnover. You don't even know who your mix is yet in November. You're playing a lot of these guys. You're not playing your best basketball yet. When Duke is playing, I'm not trying to say Duke, but if Michigan's playing Iowa in February, they're at their best right now. Where Gonzaga is playing Pacific, and Pacific is.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
I will say, listen, again, there's nothing Mark Few can do about his league. Now, I'm hoping they get in the Big East at some point. I am hoping Gonzaga goes.
But wait, I'm sorry to cut you off, but wouldn't you think that'd be dumb for him though, in either sense? Because why even leave a league where you're going to go undefeated almost every year and like get the one seed?
Money.
I think he's tired of it.
Money.
Right.
Yeah,
money.
He's not getting that money. But it's more. Think about it for them. Okay, so they have one trip a year to Marquette and Creighton. That's a few hours. That's halfway across the country. Then you're doing probably 3 other trips, right? They have a private plane. They travel really, really, really well. It's not as big a deal as people think.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And again, you get to play. You think he really wants to go and play Portland? Do you really think Mark Few wants to go to Portland and play him?
No, it's a joke of a team.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
he doesn't
Rutgers
want
is a
it
big
any
team.
more than we want it.
Yeah, well,
I'll be
tell him to
looking.
get the fuck out that, Jeff, because I'm sick of talking about this.
Exactly. I'm
Jeff.
sick of us having to play Illinois, Michigan State, Rutgers, and
Bro,
then
it's
get
the same
Pacific.
shit. Yes. I'm 100% with you, Hunter. Yes.
What do you mean?
Now, Jeff,
Sick
let
and
me
tired
ask you
of
though.
looking at their schedule.
On paper, okay, I will agree with Marty on one level here. Would you agree this on paper is the worst Gonzaga team in years?
Well, we don't know. I mean,
I'm
we
just
don't
saying
know
on
what-
paper.
No,
like
no. Ooh, I don't know.
the names they
mean,
have.
I mean, yes, the last 2 years they had high lottery picks. They had
Let's just
Chet.
say the last 10 years.
That's fair.
like,
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
listen,
do
I
you
don't know.
really
I
think they're a top
they
3
got a good
team
team
on
this
paper?
year.
yes. I mean, Julian Strother could be a first-round pick. Drew
Yeah.
Timmy's going to be one of the best college basketball players
Afton
to
Reed.
come around in a while.
Yeah, but
That's
Afton
what it
Reed
is.
can't play offense. He's a pure
He's a
defensive
backup.
guy.
He's a
He's
backup.
skilled.
Yeah.
He's skilled. No,
Yeah,
the
I
man's
hear you.
skilled.
He's a hell of a backup.
Mhm.
And then the key is Nolan Hickman. He's the key to their team this year. He's the point guard. He's got to take a jump. They got Malachi Smith, the transfer from Chattanooga.
Boom.
He'll probably come off the bench and give him 10, 12 a game. Nolan
Off the
Hickman
bench?
is the key for them.
He's gonna come off the bench.
I think Malachi Smith will probably, maybe.
I remember we
Especially-
were recruiting him. The reason why he didn't want to come here was because he wanted to play the point.
Yeah.
And,
Well, the
that's
He
problem-
went to the right place because he's not a great athlete. So he actually going to the WCC was the right move for him because I don't think he'll get, I don't know if exposed is the right word, but athletically, he won't be over. Like if he had gone to the SEC, I think it would have been a bad
Oof.
fit for him. Right.
Yeah.
Jordan, how many points would you have averaged in the WCC?
I mean, I'm shooting probably twice as many threes that I did at Iowa.
And that
So
was,
it would be probably
got
like
a lot.
20.
I'm probably. I mean, I'm averaging over 20 for sure.
Bro, I
Yeah.
could make 80.
That's what
I
I'm
can
saying.
make 84
Dude,
threes in the
no.
WCC.
Put me in the WCC.
Hey, Jordan.
it's
Hey,
20,
Jordan.
just walking
Jordan,
in.
can we tell them the story
About what?
about the transfer?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've talked about it before. I think.
You trying to
think we
transfer to
have.
Michigan?
I don't know if we've ever talked about it on here. You want to tell it?
You can if you want.
I mean, basically, it was Jordan and his brother. You tell it because I don't want to get you in any trouble. I'm
No,
gonna
I
let
want
you
it.
talk
I
the way
want
you
you to tell it.
No,
I want you
He's
to-
out of college. He's out of college, Jeff.
Yeah,
It doesn't
Jordan-
matter
All right,
anymore.
that's fine. That's fine. All right, we can tell it the unfiltered version, which is him and Zach text me. I think it was Zach who texted me
It was.
first, right?
I think Zach gave me your number, and Zach said I was gonna hit you up.
Right.
Or
And
something
I'm
like
like, basically, it was him saying he would be interested in. This was the year after you got hurt, correct?
Yes, that was after my first hip surgery.
Right after your first hip surgery.
Yeah,
and it was basically him contemplating going in the transfer portal. Okay, he was thinking about transferring at that point, and I'm like, all right, I'll put it out there according to a source that you are thinking of transferring. I put it out there, and this is why he said Iowa fans hate me. They went absolutely crazy on me. I mean, killed me. There's no way he's an Iowa guy through and through. Like, he is not going to there's no chance he ever transfers. You idiot, you moron, you have no idea what you're talking about. And
they called you worse. They called you worse, Jeff.
Way worse. I mean, they killed me. And Jordan's over there being quiet. He ain't weighing in at this point because he's still on the team, right? And I can't come out and say, hey, my source is Jordan. So I just took it. I took it and got crushed for like a year. And then finally, I think somebody even wrote a story, didn't they? Where you came out and said, I thought about it. And I like retweeted that story in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah. No, I mean, but a lot of people don't realize, like, when you get hurt in college basketball and try to come back, like, I didn't start when I came back after my first hip surgery. And I knew that, like, that's why I wanted to, like, test out things, because, I mean, I had a really good 3 seasons. Like, I could honestly went wherever I wanted and been able to provide meaningful minutes. So that's what my mind process was. So I got to
see who would come after you. And that's kind of why we did it a little bit, right? We put it out there to kind of see what would happen.
Yeah. But I give a lot of respect to Jeff, because he is a man of his word, and he won't hit the source. He won't unless I said he wouldn't do it.
Oh, I'd give up a fucking sauce in a second.
Hey, Jeff.
I think we got to test something out with Goodman when this comes out next week. We should just put eyeball. He should tweet out like source eyeball emojis. Big news on Hunter Dickinson coming soon.
Transfer, mid-season transfer. We got a kid. We got a kid in Manhattan who just put his name in the portal today after his coach got fired.
We were just talking about that. They have like 6 guys in the portal, I heard.
I know. It's sad.
It's
sad that you're going to fire somebody at this point.
That's so crazy, bro. If Jawan got fired, I'm in the portal. It's 9:54. I'm in the portal by 10.
You wouldn't wait to see who the coach is?
Yes, you would.
You would.
It would be super hard. It would be super hard. Like, I remember last year when everything was going down. Like, if they would have fired him, I would have been out of there.
When he tried to punch someone, that was awesome.
When he was provoked.
No, when he was attacked by Greg Gard.
When he was attacked.
What about the picture?
He was provoked.
What about that picture, Hunter? Were you pissed when they put out the picture, arm in arm, Greg Gard, and did you say anything to Juwan about that?
But Jeff, he was attacked.
I was there.
You watched the video back.
I was there.
You were right there? How did it happen?
Well,
give us the behind the scenes. How did they did they have to pay Juwan to take that picture?
It was definitely planned, because there's no way you put, like, obviously they put us on the same day for media day, and we definitely were like in the hallways. You're gonna pass, like, you pass by everybody in the hallways, and so it was definitely pre-planned by the Big Ten. I feel like.
Well, that shit was soft to me. I don't know.
But he has to
on both sides. Not saying one side, both sides.
My man, soft, Jordan.
We need the hatred still. Like, it's not good. We need some people that don't like each other in the league. I mean, you obviously, Wisconsin. Who else have you pissed off?
Everyone.
I mean the Illinois people.
Illinois hates him.
Illinois hates him. Wisconsin hates him. Pretty much every team hates him.
Everyone hates. Indiana hates me. Indiana for sure hates me.
Do they hate you?
I mean, I hit like 7 buzzer beaters on their teams through the years.
Michigan State, obviously.
You already said you already guaranteed victory over Wisconsin, so we're already rolling this year.
Yeah, bro, we're gonna.
I gotta ask you something about Marty, Jeff, but I have to ask you about Creighton first. Marty, I need to ask you about Creighton. You have 4th, which pretty high, right?
Yeah.
They were 305th last year in 3-point percentage. What they do, they go out and got Bailey or Shireman, who might be the best shooter in the country. Jordan, 47%, pretty good.
Yeah, but the league he played in.
Yeah, the Summit League's a
He's
disaster.
playing against like Marty over there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Marty, who could make 83s, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So follow it up. Do you think
what's
that's one of the dumber
over-under?
things ever?
The over-under on Marty's threes?
Yeah, and comment on Creighton because 4 is pretty high.
All right, we'll go Creighton first. The Marty thing will be easy. Creighton. Yeah, listen. Think about it. They almost beat Kansas last year in the tournament without their point guard and their big.
Yeah.
And they're both all-league caliber players. They're loaded. They got everybody back, again, from a team that almost beat Kansas. They were like a bucket away without Kalkbrenner and Nembhard. Now you add Shireman, who doesn't have to be unbelievable, but what he is, I saw him in person last year in the NCAA tournament. He's like 6'5". He can't really guard, but he's 6'5". He can shoot, and he can really, really pass. He sees shit, and he can really pass it. So the ball is going to be humming all over the place at Creighton. He's such a good offensive coach. I mean, Fran and McDermott are like two of the elite offensive coaches in the country. I don't know. I mean, again, if you went through it of like who you want to play for as a shooter, like it'd be a good thing for your show down the road for Jordan to list like the 5 coaches and systems that he would want to play for. I would assume Creighton would have to be in that top 5.
Easily.
So
Well,
I mean, win the whole thing. Creighton
you
can
look
win
at
the whole damn thing.
Well, you look at when Doug McDermott played under him, like they literally sold out 3 guys, and they still revolved their whole offense around him touching the ball. Still, that season blew my mind. He still averaged 25 plus a game.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of shooting, Marty Mush believes that in a season or in a career,
career,
he can make 84 threes. Now I set the number at a half of a 3. I don't think he can make one.
But that's just the thing is also what's not said is that
what team are you
Big
on?
Ten in the Big Ten.
I'm shooting a lot of threes. This is not
in the
like
Big Ten. You're not making any.
You're not getting the ball off.
You might not
have
come
video.
off. Yeah, I'm
You have video
off.
form.
I've played basketball.
We do, yeah.
We do have video.
Yes.
Yeah, but on Long Island at the park doesn't count. Dude.
No, I played what I play. JV basketball.
Marty, I'll give you one. I'll give you one in your career. I'll give you one.
Years?
And after that one, everybody will be so embarrassed. There's no way anybody lets you make
Hey, Jeff, what I liken it to, do you remember when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather? I was considering trying to find a bet where I didn't think he would even hit Mayweather. Not once. That's what I kind of liken this to. I don't think you even get a shot off, probably.
Bro, you could throw you could get lucky.
You'll get one because people will look at him and be like, you know what?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let's just see how bad it is.
And that you have to take that into account. That was at least 10 of my threes.
But then you get the crowd too, Marty. It's like you're gonna be like,
yeah, it's not easy, man.
I don't care about the team. I only care about me. So I'll be shooting threes. I don't give a shit about the fans.
But Marty, what if they played at full 100% the whole 4 years? They didn't just let you shoot. Like you wouldn't get a shot off.
When you're the 5th option on the team, they're not worried about you locking you up on defense. So I'm going to be shooting almost every time I touch the ball.
But they don't even need to be particularly close to you. All they have to do is put their arms out, man.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to have to do a video of me shooting on – I'm going to go to Iowa and just go to practice and show McCaffrey. Like,
yeah, we got to get you into some practice.
Look at this shooter. All right.
You know Rutgers well. Let's get you into their practice.
Yeah, let's get you into Rutgers. Let's get Coach Peichel up. Let's hit him
All
up.
right.
You definitely ain't getting a shot off on Rutgers. That's for sure.
Let's get him
Yo,
through.
Caleb McConnell closing out on you. It's over.
They be punching guys like during games. Like,
I went to Peichel's practice. I don't want to do any part of that. I'd be throwing up everywhere.
they don't even touch the ball. I bet they just run up and down.
They barely.
Oh, I've heard Dan Hurley practices.
I was just there.
Oh my god, my friend, one of my teammates in high school, he played for Dan Hurley. He said they had like a practice where they didn't touch a ball for like 2 hours, and then they went and did a normal practice right after that.
That's unreal.
That's like,
first of all, that's illegal.
So I have one. How about this? I have one.
He's out of college.
Again,
it's fine.
Going back to Bully Clyde Gillespie. So he was, if you guys remember, he was a coach at Texas A&M. Then he went to Kentucky. Then he got fired after 2 years. he was at Ranger. He went to Texas Tech. I wrote a big story about how he treated everybody like shit. He got fired there. Went to Ranger Junior College. He practiced 8 hours. I guess there aren't any rules in junior college. I got this from somebody on the team. They didn't have a lot. Like there was something wrong with the water, and it was like 100 degrees outside. I actually have a picture of somebody on my phone, a kid. After like the first practice, he passed out and he was in the hospital, and he's in the hospital gown like this. And I talked to him and I'm like, hey man, like, you know, you want to talk on the record? Look, you ended up in the hospital. He says, no, I love Billy Clyde, you know? So they went after he passed out, they went another 2 practices for like 5 hours, 8 hours for the day.
That's insane.
Insane.
Oh my gosh.
What are we doing? All right. Well, to end the show, because thank you for your time. It's been like a fucking hour. And at first I thought, hey,
I told my wife I'd be back down in 20 minutes. So.
I thought it was just gonna be 15 minutes.
I thought it was quick. I thought it'd be quick because Nadu was like, I'm not talking to this guy. I'm gonna fuck. I hate this guy.
No, I was just having fun. I was gonna.
And then all of a sudden we're all boys. But to end the end of this show, tell me how amazing John Shire and Duke is going to be this year, please.
Oh Christ!
Boy, honestly,
can I ask a question instead? For Christ's
sake? I think you should be worried. I'll make it quick. I mean, first year head coach, young team. One of their better ready-made freshmen is already hurt, Dariq Whitehead.
Yeah.
Lively is thin. Filipowski is thin. Jeremy Roach is a good, solid point guard.
Right.
Who last year
good guard. He's good. He's good.
He's very good.
He got good, but can he be the guy? Now he's got to be a guy. Last year, whatever he did was gravy. I mean, look at who he was playing with. Now he's got to be the guy.
You put him in a surround him with where he's the guy. I think he can be.
I just don't know if they got enough shot makers. Do they have enough? I love Lively. I'm a huge Lively guy.
Lively's dirty.
He is. He's not a big time three. You know, he's not like a skilled dude. He might make a 3 a game. Maybe, probably not. He'll probably shoot low 30s from 3 is my guess. I worry about him because they got a tough schedule coming out of the gates too. Really tough.
If they had Trevor Keels come back, that would have been. They would be nice.
Totally. That'd be the difference. And he should have come back.
Yes.
Jeff, I'm a lover of mid majors. Very quick.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a bad team, but I got to ask you. I don't know if you know this.
You scoffed at Duke, and we're asking about a bad.
Well, we're actually going to ask about possibly the worst team in America. Jeff, IUPUI last year in 29 games scored 60 or more against Division I competition 3 times. Setting the over-under this year at 3.5. Over-under.
Well, remember last year, didn't they play a game with like 5 players?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, that was awesome. I watched.
I think it was 4 scholarship. I think it was 5, and it was 4 scholarship players. One of them was a walk-on. So, listen, I'll go the over just because, you know, he's got to have 13 scholarship guys this year.
Yeah.
Right. So, like Crenshaw, you know, to me, he'll at least have a full complement of guys this year, which to me, they'll end up getting, you know, 5-6 wins.
I didn't know about you, Jeff Goodman, but that passed the test. Marty, that passed the test. He knows about IUPUI and who the coach is. This guy's good in my opinion.
What I tell you, I literally said he knows.
He's an almanac. Come on, Jeff.
Wait, speaking of the almanac, I got to push it. I got to push it because it's what I do. So we don't have a hard copy. We don't have a hard copy, but I printed it out. I did it over here. Went to
Where am I
Staples,
on that,
got it
Jeff?
down.
Where
It's
am I
like
You're in the back, way back.
we got. Look at this. We got everything.
800 pages of basketball goodness. I bought it and I've read it.
I'm gonna try to find IUPUI. It's it really is ridiculous. Like it's a bunch of young guys that I kind of here it is.
Shout out 3-man weave.
Here's IUPUI. There you go.
Jeff, am I
1,400 words on IUPUI, baby. So you can still order it. It's like $20, and it's digital. Next year we might do it. We might print it out, but I didn't want to go broke and lose money this year.
It was very good, Jeff. I have to admit, I bought it. It's very good.
No, for somebody like you, honestly, it's perfect because you're betting on a lot of those low major games.
Absolutely.
Like it gives you at least a better feel.
And that being said, Jeff, I want to say this. 3-man weave, I respect a lot. I'm big fans of them. I've dealt with them before. I've worked with them. They're good guys, and they've spoke highly of you. So it's all in good fun.
Listen, you got to learn. You cannot take me seriously. I mean, with the information I have on Twitter, take me seriously. Okay. Like there's a part of me that obviously is based on information, not hot takes.
But
And
Jeff,
then
I
there's a
wouldn't
part of
know.
me-
I've been blocked for decades.
All right. I'm going to unblock you after this. I promise you. I will
Beautiful.
unblock you.
I won't
don't know
annoy
what
you
you
too
did
much.
to get blocked. I have no idea. The only things now that really piss me off, seriously, you call me whatever you want to call me. I don't give a shit. It's all like if you say anything negative about my daughter, I'm gonna hunt your ass down. I don't mean you. I don't mean you, Jeff. I don't mean
That's
you.
reject low-level behavior.
Right. I mean anybody. I'm gonna find out where you work.
Yeah.
And I'm coming after you.
Yeah, as you should.
That's
Yeah,
just
no,
stupid.
that's bullshit. And people do it. That's the
Yeah,
worst part
people
of it.
are-
People do
Because
that.
they're behind a
shit. You gotta
screen.
know.
They're behind the third.
The worst.
100%.
account.
And my daughter's
Wrong.
getting into this, so I try to convince her not to get into sports media, but for now she is doing that at Indiana. So Hunter, are you guys going to Bloomington this year? You're not, I don't think.
Oh,
I feel like you must
wait,
play
hold
med-
on. I'll
Hunter
let me
doesn't
look it
know.
up. I'll look
He
it up.
shows
Hold up.
up for the practice and he just plays.
Yeah.
They play them in the last game of the season.
Hey, the
Yeah.
over under guys, both of you. I want
Playing
this
last game of the season.
in Bloomington.
Yep.
Mhm.
March 5th.
All right. All right, I'm gonna try to be there for that. How many over under, or what's the average number of nights that both of you guys went out each week? And I only want to know this because my daughter's a freshman in Indiana, and I know you
During
guys
the
are
season?
athletes. Yeah, did you go out at all during the
Oh,
season?
no. Last year, no, because we would lose like every Saturday game.
Shut up, bro. No, we just talked about this last weekend. He
And?
texted me. All right, so this is what happened.
During the
He texted
season,
me-
Iowa, we went out Iowa
Stop.
because we won.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
We had
Thank
a
you.
snowstorm. A snowstorm happened, and we weren't able to fly out. So what else were we supposed to do after we just beat Iowa? Go turn up
Hey,
in their
guess what
city,
he
take over
does,
their
Jeff?
trap.
Guess
Take
what
over
he
their
does?
trap.
Go ahead.
He texts me. He goes, "Hey, what you on tonight? We about to go out downtown. If you want to come." I'm like, "Bro, we just lost to y'all. Like, why
I
would we
can't
want
be
to?"
seen out with you. Right.
I
My
had to be
coach
polite.
would kill
and
my
ask,
ass
I
if I'm
had to
seen
be-
out with you after
I
we
mean,
I
lost.
had to be polite.
You know
I had
how
to be
fast
polite.
you'd be on Barstool if Jordan Bohannon and Dickinson partying together after a loss?
I was so
But-
mad at Hunter when he texted me. I didn't want to text him back. I really didn't.
Ah, damn. Okay. Well, I was
you
trying to
all-
be nice. Jordan.
But now knowing Hunter, you'd be like, he really didn't mean any harm by it. He was
No,
like,
like he's just having a good time. Like,
yeah, he just loved this guy. Just gloats.
I was
through
trying to be
life.
nice. I would have turned up with
Yeah,
you. It would have been a great time.
You wouldn't have gone out
But-
if the
no,
roles
but-
had been reversed. Would you have gone out, Hunter? No way.
No.
yeah.
No, that's why I didn't
Yeah.
go out last year. Honestly, the Iowa game and then after we beat Purdue, those were the only 2 nights that I went out. That was it during the season because we lost every other time. There was no reason to go out.
So off season, like
Ooh.
season's over in April. You're going out Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You want the on the record answer or off the record answer, Jeff? What do you
On.
want?
I want the on.
The on the record one night,
The
off
off
the record.
4.
for.
Well, no. Honestly, this year I've been really good about it. So 1 is usually it for me after the football game. I'll go out. Last year it was like 3. No, okay, that was like 3.
After my
And
junior
then
year,
I had to mature. I had to
you haven't
grow up.
matured.
Now
Hey,
it's
listen,
like
it's
1.
college, man. It's college. Like to me, as much as I want to yell at my daughter if she's going out too much, it's like I went to Arizona.
Oh, I heard Indiana.
Indiana gets
Indiana's
after
pretty
it.
crazy.
I didn't know that. I had
I went
no
out.
idea.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
There's like
Really
a week
fun.
there that is crazy. I heard. Like
It's
a
the
week
week
of just
of
straight
that, like,
partying.
It's the week of that right after the Final Four. There's some like
Yeah,
500 race or something there. Some
And
like
something like that, yeah.
500.
little 500 they call it or something like that. I may go out.
little something. Yes, little
I
something.
think it's
And-
little 500.
Hunter will be there.
Sure he
Hey,
will.
I have been invited to go. I will say that I have been
All right,
invited.
I
well,
know.
You can go out there. You got money now. You got unlimited money.
I wouldn't say that. It's not that good. Not that
He's
good.
making 7 figures. You didn't know that?
You guys are. I see all you guys.
No.
You guys are all over the place, flying Baycott's in Kentucky one weekend. I don't know where you're all over the place. This is like,
Michigan NIL is not that good yet. It's not.
are you
that
guys
good yet.
saving any money? Do you have like a 401k or something?
I am saving. I'm doing good. I got the 90-10 method going for me, Jeff. 90 save 10.
You ain't saving
Wait,
shit, bro.
Hey, I'm telling
Do
you,
you have a savings account?
I got my LLC account and my regular account.
Hell yeah.
One of these days, we're going to get Hunter to tell us exactly how much money he got this year from NIL.
That's
the end of the year.
Hunter, end of the year.
When you're out
right now,
you're going to tell us, right?
I'll give you a range. I'll give you a range.
Well, Hunter,
right
you
now,
agreed to take us all out to dinner at the end of the season. Didn't remember?
I'll take you. You come here. I'll take you to Ruth when you come here.
Beautiful.
Wait.
But hey, you wouldn't be surprised. It's not that. The NLI is not that good right now for me, Jeff.
What's the range?
Not yet.
What's funny? Here's the thing. How many got because I hear all these numbers, right? I mean, you're hearing Oscar Sheboy's one that you're hearing 2-3 million. I'll let you guys. I feel bad. I'm keeping you guys too.
You're good.
Oscar 2 to 3 million. You're hearing maybe upwards of that. Other guys $1 million. Whatever it is plus. Like, how much of this do you believe, Hunter, or how much of it is fabricated by players, by kids right now?
I would say it's a little fabricated. I think, obviously the money's always going to be with football mostly. Yeah. I think football is going to be the biggest because that brings in the most money. That's where most of the donors are. So I think football, the money's just going to be stupid. But basketball,
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Depends on the school, right? Depends on the school.
I think.
What?
You go first. You go first.
I'll go first. I think I don't think they're making $3 million in a year of NIL. Like, I think they're definitely getting a good money, but $3 million, I don't get who's giving it that much. Like, what are these kids bringing to them? Like, these sponsors.
That's what I never understood.
$3 million. Like I know
our quarterback JJ McCarthy. If he wins, like, he's not going to win the Heisman this year, but next year, if he goes out and wins the Heisman, he'll make at least two, maybe three.
Isn't the Tennessee quarterback the kid Hooker? Is he the one who got paid like $8 million? Like, didn't we hear in the remember with the Tennessee?
All it takes is one donor to be like, "Yo, here's $1 million."
Right. Totally.
That's the only thing. Yeah, the donors.
Instead of giving to the practice facility or to the weight room, they're just going to give
Steven
to the player.
That's how it should be.
One of our biggest, probably our biggest donor, Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins. He has every building named after him. $1 million for him to donate to somebody is like not. It's not trying to be in his pockets, but it's nothing for him. It's like,
will it matter? So if a guy like that or John Ruiz down in Miami, who gave Nigel Pack $400,000 a year, that's like the only public one that came out this year. Let's say Nigel Pack has, for argument's sake, just doesn't play well this year. Does it change, do you think, John Ruiz or other boosters that are paying this money if they don't get, or are they just fans? Are they just fanboys that they don't care? They're just going to keep throwing it into the program over and over and over.
That's what I think. I think they're just really big fans. They're like, I want to see. This money means nothing to me. I want to see my program and everything that they also want to feel like almost like an owner of the team. Like, oh, I'm the reason why this team is doing well. They want to tell their fucking rich buddies the same thing because there's no sponsor. Yeah, and access. There's no sponsor that's like thinking these kids are going to give them so much back. It's like, I think it's a lot of these donors 100%.
Yeah, because they're going to give the money to the school anyways. They're going to give it somehow. So I think you can try to invest it into a player that you can be like, oh, like we got the #1 recruiting class and we got the top 2 transfers. Like, I think that's something that they, like Marty said, they want to kind of.
Hunter, you gotta take the Bohannon route. Do fucking car washes, Gorilla Glue, like all the crazy shit.
Hey Hunter, don't you do? I mean, this is pretty much common out. Don't you do a restaurant?
I do have. Yeah. Well, no, the Outback expired. I have a local resturant downtown. I'm also on the Players Trunk. You can bid on a follow back from me on Instagram.
And
on a follow back.
Yeah.
Damn, I should start doing
Sports
that.
Hunter, you get 80% of the profit of all your merch.
Yep. We're working on a shirt now with Barstool.
Roundball athletes.
Roundball athletes. So far, it's just Hunter Dickinson, Paul Mulcahy, and we're looking for more.
Good one so far.
Mulcahy's good. He's good.
Hey, Jeff, I got to admit, you were a bit of a gem, I have to say. Thank you for
Great
coming on.
episode. I really
Yes.
appreciate
Thank you, Jeff.
No,
Appreciate you for coming on.
Always. You know that. Good meeting you guys.
Let's go to
Jeff,
a game together, huh? Let's cover a game, even though I'm not going to write shit down. I'm just going to.
where do you live? Jersey? You Jersey?
Yeah, New York.
Where?
Jersey.
Where in Jersey are you?
I'm in Jersey City.
Okay, yeah, you're right there. So I'm trying to think when I'll be in New York City for anything.
Iowa Duke game maybe. Madison
playing
Square
Will be,
Wilkland.
yes, December 6th, 7th, whatever that is
Okay.
for Jimmy V. And I think
All right.
Texas, right? Doesn't Texas playing the other one? In
Yeah,
that
they
other
play
game?
the early game. Yeah.
Right. Do that one. I'll
All
be
right.
there for that one for sure.
I'll see you then. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Jeff.
Have
Thanks,
a good
Jeff.
one.
Thanks, Jeff.
Everybody, thank you
Later,
very
guys.
much. That was awesome.